Yes, good old TJ.
Konnichiwa, Neo Squad, your boy INCOG, back with another reaction video, and today for you guys, we are doing another otakudaikun video. This one, it is called, The Lore of FateGrand Order to Orleans. So this is from, like, about, like, the singularity, war. I think he said at the beginning of this video, it was, I think I went, like, 6 seconds in, so just wanted to make sure that this is the right video and everything, and make sure that the audio and everything was good in my headset. So yeah, guys, I know one of you guys had actually one of you guys have actually submitted this video to me via in the comment box down below. Like I say, on this video right now, in the comment box down below, if you guys want me to react to something else that you think would be interesting for me, because like I said, I'm trying to learn about all of the Fate series, or at least a good chunk of the Fate series. Like I know like a little bit. I'll say probably like 15-20%, but I don't know like the full gist of, because I know it's like a lot of like different timelines and everything like that with like novels, manga, animation, stuff like that and all that. So I really didn't all like I've done like more of like the animation. I really haven't done like none of the novels, nothing like that. Like I say, if you guys want me to react to something else, leave a link in the comments down below, or just leave me the title of the video down below, and I would definitely get to it. So like this video right now. So yeah, guys. So without further ado, oh actually, go lie. That's kind of embarrassing. I'm probably gonna just cut that part out right there and just come back right now. Yeah, so without further ado, guys, like I say, we're gonna get right into this. So play.
Let's move on to the first singularity. 100 Years War of the Evil Dragons, Orleans.
I like how literally all the characters right there was like all females, like Sango,
This is part 2 of my lore of FateGrand
Saber,
Order,
all
where we'll
that.
be covering all the lore surrounding the game's first singularity.
Arteria, should I?
Orleans. This isn't going to be simply a summary of events, though you can certainly use it to refresh your memory. I'll be explaining the singularity from an overview perspective, stripping it of the suspense and dramatic pacing, so we can get straight into the facts. It's my personal way of explaining events as I understand them. I'll mention servants and their lore as it's relevant, but for more depth, be sure to check out their individual servant videos, which I've put in the comments below. Without further ado, let's dive in.
Might need to react to them later on.
Demon god amalgamation Caldea wants to recreate the universe to fix humanity's flaws. He's gonna zip back in time to the origin of the universe, but to do that he needs fuel. And he's decided to get that fuel by incinerating all of humanity over the past 3,000 years.
Oh, okay.
There's still a chance
That's one way. That's one way of doing
to
it.
preserve the incineration, Caldea put 7 holy grails into varying points throughout history, drastically altering events so they result in anomalies called singularities. These are the detonation points used to incinerate humanity, and if we can
What
resolve
in the
those
heck is that?
singularities, we can slowly undo Caldea work. Roman, or rather, Solomon, King of Mages, is our director at Caldea, and as the last functioning master, Ritsuka Fujimaru, we venture back in time via ray shift to these singularities as Caldea detects them. We're not alone, however.
It's nice on the left, I ain't gonna lie.
Our beloved Kohai, who's a wonderful demi-servant. Back at HQ, we have Leonardo da Vinci. But why is she a woman? Honestly, because she wants to be. In short, Da Vinci wanted to be beautiful.
Da Vinci
Found
is
that
a
beauty in
female?
Mona Lisa, his most famous work of art. When being summoned as a servant, Da Vinci chose to manifest in a body greatly resembling Mona Lisa. And this shows that
Oh, okay.
heroes record someone a certain
Bars.
way, there are still
Bars.
methods of
You
manipulating
know
the
that.
summoning to get different aspects of a given hero. This logic holds true for a lot of Orleans. While Da Vinci got a heroic spirit sex change, the more common variants of a servant tend to be lilies and altars. A lily servant is the version of that hero at their most pure, typically in a younger form,
Okay.
before they encountered a lot of their defining hardships. Altars, on the other hand, are just that, alter egos. While they may have been pure and honorable during
I mean, makes
life,
sense.
servants
Altars,
may
alter
harbor
egos.
inner darkness that they
Simple.
normally choose to repress. In other cases, altars are versions of a servant that manifest as imaginations of choices they could have had, paths they could have taken.
Basically, like a secondary option of that character.
Pendragon altar, her normal spirit origin was corrupted by Angar Mainyu, resulting in a form of the King of Knights who, as she was criticized, truly was inhuman. Her love, her compassion, the part of her that literally wags when happy, is no more. That isn't to say an altar servant can't do good things. It just means that their personality and abilities have had a major shift in alignment. Thanks to this, it's possible to have a servant who is both
So both at that
and
pure,
at the same time.
then like an altered
Seems like a
path of that.
The best I can say
That's cool.
is that altar lilies are edgy cuties.
Edgy cuties.
Funsies would spoil Roman's fascination with the idol, Magi Mari. He doesn't realize his idol is actually Merlin, the dick wizard. Merlin's trapped
What wizard?
and clearly doesn't have much to do in his spare time. In the Fate timeline, I wonder if he can spy on Shiro and Artoria, making out in those grass fields, getting frisky in the flowers. Anyway, back on topic. Caldea has discovered coordinates to send us to the first
Bro, I gotta
singularity,
chill, man.
and so we head there. Let's clarify. Solomon's Grails aren't exactly the same thing as in Fuyuki's Holy Grail Wars. They're more like the Lesser Grail, a vessel for a ton of mana. Either way, that shit's useful. If you plop a Grail into a time in history, someone's bound to discover it and use it, interfering with said history. In addition, the Grail seems to arbitrarily summon various servants who don't have masters. This could be considered to be part of the counterforce's involvement to restore the singularities, but it doesn't always seem to help. On top of that, Caldea's summoning system is more versatile than Fuyuki's. A master can not only summon multiple servants, but even restore their own command spells. Technically, if a servant dies, you can summon them again. It's weird, but fun.
Wait,
Needless
right
to
off
say,
rip after they die, or
singularities
does
fill
it?
up
Is it like a
fast
time
with all
limit before you
sorts
can
of
do it?
servants.
That's the
For
question.
Orleans, there's one major highlight, and that's Jeanne d'Arc. When France and England were nearing the end of their 100 Years' War, Jeanne was a mere country girl who believed she heard the voice of God, his lamenting. She interpreted this as a sign that she should join the army and protect France from England. It's commonly believed that she wasn't actually hearing God's voice, but that of the world itself. Either way, she suited up and joined in the battle, eventually becoming a successful leader. She took back the occupied city of Orleans, but was ultimately captured by English forces, who not only wanted her out of battle, but also wanted to discredit her as an
Where she got that
emissary of
back,
God.
that back
The
mark on
English
her,
church forced
like
her
in
into trial,
Grand Order.
attempting to get her to admit she was wrong about the voice of
Was it
God.
Grand Order? I think it was,
The
right?
biased court declared her guilty of blasphemy and had her burned at the stake. The French king, Charles VII, had a chance to rescue her by paying ransom, but never did so. Instead, Jeanne was betrayed by those she tried to save, but she refused to regret her actions. While cruel, she accepted her end as a part of God's plan. After the war had ended, Jeanne was later declared a saint, but the story doesn't end there. Gilles de Rais, Jeanne's most trusted and loyal knight, was horrified by Jeanne's death. His religious faith fell apart, believing that no god
Wow,
would allow
look at
him
that
to
little.
suffer so.
You got like
In an attempt
good
to
and
force
evil
God's hand,
side by side on
Gilles
them.
turned to practicing black magic while raping and murdering hundreds of children. He wanted God to punish him so he could believe God was real. but
Oh
that never
my
happened.
goodness.
Instead, Gilles was executed for his crimes, not for justice, but because greedy people coveted his lavish estate.
Shake my
That's how
head, bro.
things originally played out, but in the singularity, things have gotten out of hand. Just 3 days after Jeanne's burning, the corrupted Gilles de Rais gets his bony mitts on Solomon's Grail and uses
I'm kind of debating if I want to
gilgamesh,
react to that or
Jeanne
not. That
d'Arc
Grand Order, like the
once
story
more.
game, like the
The result is
storylines.
everyone's favorite edgy virgin, Jeanne d'Arc Alter, or Jalter for short. Her main defining trait as an altar servant is that, unlike her pure self, Jalter does regret her military campaign, and does hold resentment for her captors and murderers.
Well, it makes
Jalter
sense. Like I said,
confronts
it's
her
an
killers
alternate
with a craving
version.
for some papal flambe, determined to massacre France, saving it in her own way by turning all of its citizens into undead.
Big edgy.
Oof. To assist in this endeavor, she uses Gilles' Grail to summon a small army of servants, whom she manipulates by inflicting madness enhancement upon them. Basically, she makes her minions have berserker features, regardless of their actual class. Those servants are Chevalier Dion, Vlad III, Atalante, Carmilla, and Saint Martha. Let's start
Saint
with
Martha
Dion,
and Camillo.
the Knight of the White Lily.
Spicy,
The first thing that comes
spicy.
to mind might be the servant's sex
Like,
or
nice.
gender. It is said that Jeanne was viewed as both a man and a woman, despite dressing in formerly men's attire. Their beautiful androgyny is often perceived as that of a woman. In life, Jeanne was presented as both man and woman, and also identified as both, so as far as we're concerned, the distinction becomes relatively insignificant. Even though Jeanne's genitalia was confirmed male after death, doctors also noted female genetic characteristics. In terms of heroic spirit, the rumors manifest in an ideal androgyny. Regardless, they were a French soldier and writer during the 18th and 19th centuries, serving as a spy and dragoon captain. They served Marie Antoinette, the Queen of Lilies, who we'll come back to. Next we have Vlad III.
He looks cool.
Famous for defending his land against the Ottoman Turks.
Wire and all.
His methods were seen as horrifically cruel, labeling him Vlad the Impaler for scaring his enemies by displaying their soldiers impaled on large stakes. While he was seen as a hero by his country, others began to associate him with the fictional character of Count Dracula. In Apocrypha,
yeah, I can see that.
adamant to clear his reputation.
No, Apocrypha. That's what it was called. Apocrypha was that was the one that John Arc was in.
He's less focused on the
I'm tripping.
task here.
Not Grand. Grand is the video game.
Princess,
Dummy.
abandoned by her father who sought a male heir. She was blessed by the protection of the Greek goddess Artemis and raised in the wild to become an excellent archer and hunter. Her beauty and fame prompted her father to accept her and force her into marriage. She nearly beats her suitor in a foot race, but is unfairly tempted by the allure of golden apples.
Oh,
On the
yeah.
Discovery Channel, in a sacred space, moreover, she and her husband are turned into animals. As a servant, all she really wants is to protect children from being abandoned like she was. But with madness enhancement, she's unable to actively pursue this. Then there's
That
Carmilla,
sucks.
the Blood Countess, also known as Elizabeth Bathory. She was a spoiled Hungarian noble who was raised to view her subjects as less than human, until a fateful day when she convinced herself that her skin stayed healthy upon bathing in the blood of other women. She murdered hundreds of women in an attempt to preserve her youth and beauty.
Dang, she took
before
that to the
ultimately
extreme,
being
off the
condemned
deep end,
to
huh?
isolation, dying in a sealed-off prison cell. Her older aspect, Carmilla, has fully become a monster, enjoying
A
murder
monster
and
is
torment,
definitely an
making her a
understatement.
perfect fit for Jalter's twisted ambitions. Last, we have Saint Martha, the Dragon Rider, a first-century Catholic saint who was exiled from Rome following Jesus' crucifixion. She is most famous for encountering the turtle-like monster, Tarask, child of Leviathan, and rendering it submissive to her. She was no doubt saintly, leaving people to believe she suppressed
Don't care, don't
Tarask
care.
through her prayer and training as the Messiah's
Holy lady.
follower. But she tends to reveal a more stoic, determined side that suggests force may have been involved. Either way, unlike the other servants Jalter summons, Martha tries to resist the madness enhancement as best she can. With her team assembled, Jeanne dispatches her servants to wreak havoc on the land, she herself proceeding to murder King Charles VII, preventing the signing of a peace treaty that would have ended the war. All of France begins to fear the wrath of the Dark Witch. Here's where Ritsuka and Mashu come in. Almost immediately after arriving, they encounter French soldiers who are on edge and nervously attack them. Following the soldiers after they make peace leads them to a chance encounter with, well, I'll be damned, the classic Jeanne d'Arc as a ruler servant. It turns out Jeanne
yeah.
was summoned as one of the masterless servants. And because
She
this
definitely
isn't the
was a
Holy Grail
ruler,
War,
which makes
her
sense.
unique abilities as a ruler are gone. Either way, she's been hearing all about this Dark Witch and decides to join Ritsuka and Mashu since their goals match each other. They travel
Oh, my
together,
nose.
searching
Goodness.
for intel before being ambushed by waves of Jalter's servants. They're about to be defeated when they're saved by two more wandering servants, Marie Antoinette and Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. As I said earlier,
It's a mouthful, I'll say that.
France, particularly during the 18th century. In short, she was a caring queen whose noble rule was absolute, garnering her both love and hate during the French Revolution, a time when France's monarchy restructured into a republic. This resulted in Marie being tried as a criminal of the state, ultimately sent to be executed. As a servant, she merely wishes to continue bringing happiness to her people, not wanting to erase her cruel execution. Mozart is, well, Mozart. One of
Mozart.
history's most famous musicians.
Yep.
He was a musical prodigy with progressive tastes and amazing talent for being able to replay songs after only a first hearing. As a young boy, he met with Marie Antoinette and proposed to her. He was a rather spontaneous playboy. When he composed, he was satisfied
Playboy
with his
vibes.
first instincts, not needing to revise or correct his works. His success drew the ire of other musicians, most prominently Antonio Salieri, who, surprisingly, is also a heroic spirit later on past the Solomon arc. Small world. Because Mozart took over Salieri's position as Kapellmeister, rumors began spreading that Salieri was somehow responsible for Mozart's death from illness and exhaustion. Many works of fiction tell of how Salieri anonymously haunted Mozart, amplifying his guilt over the death of his father, urging him to compose his father's requiem. In Fate, however, these are merely baseless accusations. Following Mozart's death, Salieri actually went on to tutor Mozart's son and protege.
That's what's
Another
up.
fun twist for Fate is that Mozart practiced magecraft, having ties to the association, making him fit to be a caster-class servant. The two wind up joining Ritsuka's growing party, and at night, they are visited by Saint Martha. Unable to escape her madness enhancement, Martha yearns to be defeated by Ritsuka, making her last battle a chance to test the master's resolve. Before disappearing, she tells them of a dragon slayer, Siegfried, who they'll need to team up with in order to defeat Jalter's dragons. That's right, Jalter, when created by Gilles, gains a dragon attribute, allowing her to control wyverns, and even the ferocious dragon Fafnir, into battle. Yeah, Orleans is filled with dragon-based creatures, so it
Yeah,
makes
Zig is
sense
from
for Ritsuka to seek out Siegfried, who,
Apocrypha.
in life, slayed Fafnir. But you know what? All these wyverns, they're just giant swallows. And you know who's a boss at killing swallows? Motherfucking Regin Koji Bro Sasaki. Seriously, who needs sumanai when you've got a samurai? Burn.
I ain't gonna lie, that samurai, he was cold though.
We really should talk about Siegfried.
'Cause I remember when he fought
He
Saber.
was a German national hero.
The one face here was it Limited Blade Works, was it?
Taking
Or was it
on
something else?
tasks
But yeah, that was
asked of him,
lit.
mainly from nobles. Fulfilling the wishes of his people led him to obtain his sword, Balmung, and even slay the dragon Fafnir. By bathing in the dragon's blood, Siegfried became immortal, minus a small spot on his back where a leaf blocked the blood. He kept accepting tasks until his actions sparked a political nightmare. And the easiest way to fix it,
That's crazy though.
himself
Only
killed.
not on
He
his
was a humble
back.
guy who wasn't picky with the requests he fulfilled, but because of that, he never wound up helping the peasantry, who were unable to voice their wishes. Thus, he wants to become a hero on his own terms now. Problem is, prior to Ritsuka's arrival, he fought against Jalter's forces and got cursed in the process, weakening him in future battles. While Ritsuka investigates the city of Lyon, they encounter a new servant, Phantom of the Opera. Sadly, he's one of Jalter's minions this time. Oh, wait, wasn't Phantom of the Opera a musical? Yeah, one that was based on a 19th century novel. In its story, Phantom became charmed by a wonderfully pure actress. He guided her to becoming a diva, but because his love was one-sided, he turned to committing serial murders.
I'm about to say going to madness,
Assassin
obviously,
servant.
because you couldn't get what he
Similar
wanted.
case to Kojiro Sasaki. It's assumed the Phantom of the Opera was fictional. For the Phantom, however, it's likely the novel was based on a real person, who may or may not have committed the same crimes. Either way, this real-life person, as an anti-heroic servant, gains the abilities of the fictional Phantom. Ritsuka drives him off and finds Siegfried, who proceeds to scare off Jalter's dragons, but asserts he cannot be of much help until his curse is removed. Thus, the party now has to track down another living saint who can possibly remove Siegfried's curse. Along the way, they encounter French forces, led by Gilles de
man.
Rais's younger saber form, fighting against more wyverns,
Dang,
as
man,
well as
sorry.
2 newer servants who
Almost
serve
2 o'clock in the
Jalter,
morning.
Lancelot and Charles Henry Sanson.
I'm doing this video.
Lancelot's in his berserker armor from Fate
Oh,
Zero,
he looks
barely able to
tough.
speak
That's
cohesively.
Lancelot.
He was a knight of the Round Table who betrayed his king by having an affair with Arthur's wife, Guinevere. He blames himself for the subsequent downfall of King Arthur, mentally tortured by Arthur's forgiveness. Turned into an unpredictable berserker servant who takes his rage out on both friend and
He looks cool
foe.
right there. I like that
Sanson, on
design.
the other hand, was a French executioner in Paris. He loved the king and queen, but during the French Revolution, he had a lot of work to do, conducting so many executions. Sadly, the revolution ended with the decline of nobility. and Sanson had to be the one to raise the guillotine on his king and queen, Louis and Marie Antoinette. He's a bit delusional as a servant helping Jalter, believing it to be his fate to execute Marie once more. Marie has to defeat him every so often throughout the Singularity. In their search for a saint, Jeanne finds Saint George, aka Georgios, who is busy protecting a town. If they're to gain his help, they must first help him evacuate the citizens. Jeanne and Marie fight alongside him, but shit gets real when Jalter arrives with enemy reinforcements.
So she's gonna fight herself?
She stays behind so that Jeanne and George can escape, facing both Sanson and Jalter on her own. Tragically, she perishes in the fight against Jalter, even after using her noble phantasm, Crystal Palace, which ranks her up in combat. In that same town, they encounter two friendlies, Elizabeth Bathory.
Aw, that looks so adorable.
I've already told of Liz in relation to Carmilla. Liz is the younger, more naive version, who, unlike her murderous older self, wants to redeem
Wait, so that's
herself.
one of the same person?
Yohime was written of in Japanese folklore as a young girl who hosted a traveling monk in need of lodging. She immediately fell in love with the monk, Anshin, and offered herself to him during the night, only to be rejected. Pressured from her persistence, Anshin falsely promised to see her again. When he broke that promise, Kiyohime went, well, berserk, transforming into a rampaging dragon who burned him in his temple to ash. Anshin tried to hide in a large bell.
Well, fellas, that's why you definitely never get a female angry like that.
Liz and Kiyohime are feuding
She
against
might
each
burn
other
you in the middle of the night. It's a dragon.
quickly ally themselves
Never
with
know.
Ritsuka. In particular, Kiyohime sees Ritsuka as the second coming of her beloved Anshin and is eerily obsessed with them. Better not lie to her, or you're dead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Georgios. Well, he's a Catholic saint and brave knight, described in the Golden Legend and the Seven Champions of Christendom. He came upon a village that was suffering under a dragon, making sacrifices to keep it at bay. Georgios stepped in and slayed the dragon with a spear, but only after getting the entire country to adopt Christianity.
Mass conversion.
He's actually not the boss. He was raised by a witch.
Hey, that voice
said
changed. Mass
Eventually, he figured out
conversion.
she was evil, duh, and vanquished her to a cave, rescuing the other saints in the process. When he went to Egypt, he found another community sacrificing their maidens to a dragon. Seriously, that's insane. Luckily, he got a sword from the witch, Ascalon, and used it to shank the dragon.
Oh, shake.
It's all downhill from here, really. Jeanne and Georgios are able to cure the curse on Siegfried, giving him the power to slay Fafnir and weaken Jalter's forces. This gives Ritsuka's party the chance to invade Orleans and confront Jalter in a final battle. Jeanne prevails over her dark self, only
Jalter.
to discover the true villain was Caster Gil all along. All the Singularity's allied servants stomp his creepy ass and recover the Grail. Despite the evil person he became, Jeanne still feels confident they'll fight together again, which is true if you actually keep Saber Gil around. I just find him too uncanny to give him the pleasure of redemption. Plus he invades my gacha too much. When we resolve a singularity, the summoned servants vanish, but the timeline goes on its own, no longer contradicting human history. Ritsuka and Mashu ray-shift back to Caldea, where they can enjoy a nice, refreshing shower. Congratulations! We are now one singularity closer to defeating Getia and preventing humanity's incineration.
Oh,
Forward
okay.
to part 3, where we'll cover the second singularity, Septem, where you'll get more than you can possibly fathom. Thank you for watching this video.
Alright, well,
If you
that's
enjoyed
the
it,
Lore of
please
Fate
like,
Grand
comment,
Order 2 Orleans by otakudaikun. Like I say, we're gonna end off right there, guys. Like, share, subscribe on the video. Hit the bell notification, make sure you click all so notify to make a future upload. The recent support on the channel has been like amazing, guys. I really do appreciate it. We're almost at 900 subs. I think we're a couple more away from 850. Then we're on to 900 subs. But man, appreciate you guys liking the videos, sharing the videos, everything like that. And the new people that's coming around that this video is getting recommended to you guys. I'm glad you are subscribing to the videos, subscribing to the channel. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the content. Well, guys, like I say, we want to cock them out. Peace.